Hi everyone, we're ROMbi, and today we're reviewing the Floral Batches weapons. They don't
Part 2.
Part 2! So again,
They're not leveled up all the way.
right, so we'll just have to deal with that. They also don't have a character attached to them, which we forgot to mention in our first video, so whoops. So here is the Brawler weapon. The weapon skill is Nature Hunter. What that does is it has a natural systems buff.
So when you are doing attack to a natural system type enemy, which would be like the plants, the bees, the hornets, etc.,
I think the birds too.
and maybe the birds, it will increase the damage against them, and it will also give you a HP drain effect, so you can sap away their HP.
And then the passives are, if maxed out all the way, damage to the natural system plus 50%, which is like, honestly, it's just buff after buff after buff against the natural system. So if you're playing like Merlin Island, for example, right?
Sure.
Merlin Island, I think, has a lot of natural systems monsters. If you're playing Merlin Island system, you probably decimate everything in the way. The other passive is the action skills enhancement plus 5%, which means your
skills do a little bit more damage. If you look, it has a shock effect. Right now it's level 4. I think it might stay level 4. If it goes up to level 5, it'd be pretty great. But I think it
stays at level 4.
I think it stays at level 4.
Okay, so after trying it out on Merlin Island a few times, we can't see the buff. So we're going to go ahead and try it out on the event quest. And hopefully it works this time. Whoops.
And I don't see any takeaway strength of the enemy either. I don't see any HP drain effect on the Brawler weapon. I don't know.
We may have been misinforming you this entire time.
So, yeah. Okay.
Oh wait, no, because mine's not upgraded. Well, no, that's not true.
It's the same skill weapon.
Yeah. So again, you can still do the shock,
which is fairly effective. Weapon skill. There's the buff. Let's run to the side.
No, the buff only exists during the attack.
Yeah.
Oh no, it does. Look. Here, watch her. 4%. 4. Or 4,
Oh, interesting.
So during the attack, okay, this is terrible. During the attack, she can, she does do the heal. Although her heal is really low, and I don't know if it's because it's this character. Whoa! Yeah, C9. I don't know if it's this character and how low her attack is in general, but it does give you a small heal from attacking the mobs. Yeah, and pretty high chance of shock. And that's all.
Yep, okay. That was a very confusing weapon.
That was a very confusing weapon. I don't think I've ever been more confused in my life. About a weapon, at least.
So, anyways, it does have an HP drain, but it's a very small HP drain off of this weapon skill.
It does do a damage up on the natural systems monsters, but also a very small damage up, and so kind of hard to tell. I would say this weapon is rated a little bit too highly.
Yeah. I agree with the game width on it only being an A.
Right, and not an S-class weapon. It may be because we're using a not suited brawler for it. It may be because we just don't understand this weapon, but I think this weapon is a little bit overrated. Yeah, so let's go ahead and try out the warrior weapon. So if you look at the warrior weapon, that's not what I wanted to do. Equip.
So here is the warrior weapon. It has a poison buster passive skill, so it will increase the damage against poisoned enemies, and when fully maxed, it will increase attack by plus 50% against poisoned enemies. Its other passive skill is an action skill enhancement by 5%.
And just to go back a little bit, it's rated S-class on Famitsu and A-class on Game Width. Its active skill is called Swift Beheading, which I think is kind of ridiculous, but other people think it's cool. I don't know. It's Swift beheading. Anyway, okay. It costs 25 SP and it gives you an attack speed buff, which is great because the only warrior I know that gives an attack speed buff is Zac.
Although Ogre does have a innate attack speed buff.
Oh, okay, so he's a passive. So does it stack?
It probably does stack, yes.
I don't have Ogre, so I can't test it out, but probably does stack. So if you have Ogre and you have this weapon, probably a great weapon for him. But in any case, it makes warriors significantly better just because you have this attack speed buff. Okay, let's try him out. Her out.
Okay. So here we are testing it out. And
let's see if I don't get hit because this is bad. So here's the... Oh, okay, that was a terrible idea. So let me run away real quick. So here's the normal attack speed.
And you can see it's quite slow.
And there's the poison, by the way.
Poison.
It seems to poison really
very
often.
nice.
Yeah, so here's the attack speed buff. Oh, it's so pretty. And you can see it's significantly faster.
I'd say it's comparable to Zac's attack speed buff.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is that Zac actually does damage with his skill.
And this one does not. Okay.
But yeah, it is a very good attack speed buff. It increases the attack nicely.
Mm-hmm.
And the
weapon... poison is fantastic.
Poisons very frequently.
I think... Oh, I forgot to check, but I think the poison is actually level 8 instead of level 5 like the other ones were. So it's much, much more likely to poison.
Yeah, so that will mean that it poisons a lot more frequently, which is much nicer on a warrior just because their attack speed is generally very slow.
Yeah.
So you can't put in as many attacks like you can for, say, the fencer.
Or a dual blade, well, dual blade's like just out of the park.
But yeah. I do think that the weapon is fairly rated.
I actually think it's rated too low.
I think Famitsu has it correct on having it be an S-class.
I think Game With's A-class is a little bit too low because, honestly, I think the fact that it can poison and the fact that it's an attack speed buff, it just makes a warrior attack so much faster on top of its high attack.
Game With ratings are slightly different in that they only have 3 ratings, SS, S, and A. So they don't have the plus or minuses.
Oh, I see. Oh, really? They only have 3? So it's ranked the lowest.
Yeah.
That's strange. I would say that the warrior weapon is a better weapon than Game With says. So let's go ahead and try out the dual blade weapon.
So the dual blade weapon is equipped on Soma because he was free. And...
yeah, there's no 1-star dual blade. There's not one yet. I think there should be one in some island, right?
I don't know about that one.
Okay. Well, in any case, the dual blade weapon is ranked S-class in Famitsu and A-class on...
No, it is ranked S-class in both Famitsu and on Game With.
Mm-hmm.
So its weapon skill is called Snow Mirage, and it only costs 15 SP, but it gives you both a movement speed buff and a stealth buff.
Which is really nice. And then the passive skill is SP plus 10%. I don't know how I feel about that, but that's just because I like things costing less SP more than having a larger SP gauge.
Mm-hmm. It has a level 4 slow.
Mm-hmm.
If you were to see like the other weapons, most of the higher attack speed characters, such as brawlers and dual blades, their effects were level 4 as opposed to level 5 of, say...
everything else except for the warriors, which was a level 8. So a little bit not as frequent, but it should be still good.
But I think they specify these levels just based on the attack speed of the character itself. So overall, it should activate about as much as some of the other weapons in this batch.
Or time-wise, at least.
Yes. So let's test it out.
I also realize our guildmates are talking like a lot while we're filming, so don't mind them.
I think they're discussing the weapons too, because I just saw they were talking about heal or heal all allies.
Mm-hmm. They're probably discussing. These weapons are really good. Like, I'm really surprised. Well, okay, I don't normally roll for weapons just because I don't like rolling for them, so I'm actually pleasantly surprised at how great these are. Oops, I want to switch to the dual blade. Okay. So you're doing the dual blade. Okay, that didn't give me any. What am I doing? Slow?
There's
a slow. And these guys are slowed. You can see that.
Now let's try the skill.
It's just a buff. Whoops. So it gives you a movement speed buff, which you can see on top of him, and he moves significantly faster.
And of course, it also gives you stealth. As you can see, we are running all around the enemies, and they cannot see us.
And they couldn't care less. But once you attack them, again, the stealth buff goes away. There's the slow again. Wow, the slow's pretty good. Wow, so was pretty bad. I always forget that so was really bad.
And all the dual blades are just really squishy in general, so.
That's true. No, but I think he's specifically more squishy. In any case, if you hit normal things like,
treasure chests and boxes.
And the keys
flowers
and stuff. Yeah, if you hit those, then the
stealth buff still exists.
Right, and the stealth buff, I imagine, is 20 seconds, because that seems like a really normal buff. Yeah.
But yeah, that's the dual blade weapon. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I wish it had an area of effect attack.
Yeah, but stealth is really nice.
Yeah, makes Vanguard a little bit easier.
Yeah, because you just run through all the mobs as opposed to having to fight them.
Right.
Unless, of course, the red walls come up.
And then you're stuck. I would say that the dual blade rating is accurate. I don't know.
I feel like it's a little bit high.
I feel like it's a little, like, slightly high. Maybe like it's like S- or something like that.
Yeah.
Just barely.
Because I mean, its active skill is really nice, but the passive is kind of meh.
And it only has one passive. And then, well, the nice thing about the active skill is it's really cheap.
Yeah.
It's really cheap. So I guess, I think because all the dual blade weapons that are out right now are actually really good, that the comparison between this dual blade versus any other dual blade doesn't make it like significantly better, but it's still an S-class weapon. So if you're interested, you should roll for it.
Well, anything of this batch is actually really good. So it's probably a good idea to roll for them if you don't have any weapons currently, or if you're in need of weapons for your characters.
For any class. So yeah, I mean, roll.
All right.
Bye!